Being a stay-at-home mom is the hardest job in the world. That's crazy because being a stay-at-home dad is the easiest job on the planet. Today I woke up early, 5:45, because that's what time my daughter gets up. I made pancakes, sausage, eggs for everyone, including my wife. Then I cleaned downstairs, cleaned up all of the mess I made making that breakfast, and then I took my daughter to the aquarium. I've been home for the past 6 weeks. I've been to the splash pad 6 times, and I've not gotten tired. Oh, by the way, I'm sick today too. I feel like absolute dog shit. And then now we're gonna hang out for a little bit. I'm gonna fix them a decent lunch. Then I'm gonna do laundry. We'll probably go to the park or something, and then I'll come back, and I'm not tired. This is so fucking easy. I love this. It's not only easy, it's rewarding. I was spending 10 hours a day making someone else rich and getting zero recognition for it. And now I get, oh my God, you're so strong. Oh my God, you're the best dad. This is awesome. Blah, blah. That's it. And then what happens? They fight each other every once in a while. They're loud. Oh, it's overstimulating. Oh, I don't get interactions with other people. I don't like other people. I don't want them. The two people that I like the most out of anyone on the planet are my children, and they're here. I like hanging out with them. You
Yo, when I see women that are complaining about being mothers, but usually they are the ones that are always pregnant, I just think to myself, why are you having kids? There's women that get mad at other women for saying that they don't want to have kids. And I'm okay with that because they would probably not be that great of mothers because they know who they are. And so when I see women that are complaining about being stay at home mothers, and I'm not saying that that's the easiest job in the world, but it seems to be the easiest job in the world. And I always equate what a job is or how good a job is based off of how much you love to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even look at that as a job. That's your rightful duty to raise and rear your children according to the admonition of God. And so, as a person that I'm not going to say I was a stay at home dad, I was a dad that spent an extraordinary amount of time at home because I had the availability to be able to work from home, either through my entrepreneurial spirits or the fact that I was in software engineering. And I think that I had got the golden age of software engineering and UX UI, especially after COVID hit. I had the opportunity to spend an extraordinary amount of time around my daughter and at home and raising her, and I was able to take her to all kind of places. I mean, we've traveled the world. I've been able to do my job anywhere I want to go. Being able to just watch her and be with her and make breakfast and go to her school and, and meetings and parent teacher conferences and stuff. It was probably the best, most exciting time that I've ever had. You know what I'm saying? And even when I, speak to her mother about what her experience is about raising her, she's never, ever said to me, and I wish I had a job and I was going to work a 9 to 5 instead. Even to this day, with my daughter being technically quote unquote an adult, and they recently went to the orientation. We all three of us went to the orientation. I had to do a live stream and then I showed up a little bit later. That's what it is. I mean, they on their way home from Tucson, Arizona, from going to a tournament, a Taekwondo tournament. And it's just like the most fun, exciting thing that has ever happened. And the easiest job, babysitting, man. I loved having a good time with my kid and being there and being around and all of that stuff. And I just can't imagine when I see all of these women crashing out and talking about, oh my God, and then they keep getting pregnant. Oh my God, can't believe it. I need a payment, a stipend, an additional amount of money, and a nanny and all of this other stuff. And I'd be like, why? Kids are cool. They're awesome. They're fun. They like to have fun. You go to the park. You can make picnics. It don't cost no money to be able to take them out. Just go to the mall, walk around all day and stuff like that. It was just a fun time. It was a very fun time going to the local recreation center. I used to take my daughter to the library a lot of times. Always was at the library, and it's fun discovering books. And we would go to the movies and just fun stuff every day. And that was even after school. And then she started getting into Taekwondo. And then I got a little sad after that because it was like, she started spending all of her time at Taekwondo. But then it was cool because it was just like, yo, she new community, new friends and all of that. And then I just don't understand women that frame being a stay-at-home mother. And I just think it's your attitude. I really do think it's your attitude. Nobody in the world is going to convince me that being a stay-at-home mother is even remotely as difficult as going out here and battling the world and trying to get a paycheck and trading in your time for money. Nobody will.
You're tripping and you're unappreciative and lazy. The end.
Y'all, I remember the stay-at-home moms was acting like being a stay-at-home mom was just so much harder than anything in the world. I've been a stay-at-home dad for a little over a year now. Prior to that, I was in the military for 10 years. There's nothing I've done in this past year involving my children that was harder than waking up at 6:30 in the morning and going to run 6 miles saying airborne. Being a stay-at-home dad is not harder than getting convoy clearances for an entire brigade done. Being a stay-at-home dad is not harder than changing a Humvee tire. Like, what is it about being a stay-at-home parent that y'all was trying to convince us was so fucking hard? Is it the cooking? Because there's crock pots, there's air fryers, there's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
He's right. He's so right. And it ain't even like the women of yesteryear. I seen women that had so much joy and love. My grandmother, she loved kids. She wanted to have so many more kids. And she had 13. And then my mom and all of that stuff. And I don't understand, because the way that technology has evolved and advanced, you don't have to make pies from scratch no more. You know what I'm saying? The washing machine or dryer will let you know when it's actually dry, and it'll keep going until it actually dries. So you could just put it on a timer. You got dishwashers and air fryers and all of these modern conveniences. And I mean, for God's sakes, I have a cleaner that come to all of the houses that we are part of, and all of this stuff. And I'm like, what's the hard part? Cooking, breakfast, dinner, packing some lunches. Making lunches is easy. You know, most kids don't want no gourmet stuff a lot of times, man. They be wanting the basics. Oh, can you make me a grilled cheese sandwich? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. We rocking out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that there's not some difficult times when the kid is sick or you're trying to break a fever and all of that stuff. That goes without saying. But it's just like, why y'all making this more difficult than it really is? I'm not buying it, bro.
one-pot meals. What about this shit did y'all really try to convince us that this shit was just so hard? Like, being a stay-at-home parent is a fucking luxury. Tell them, baby. It is a luxury to be able to stay at home with your kids all day. Are y'all fucking insane? And it's like I understand. The kids can get a little annoying sometimes. Like, my kids, do they get annoying? Yes, I got 202 right now. It's like, man, I wish you motherfuckers just knew. You know what I'm saying? But they're here for the first time. It's okay. Give them a little grace. And yes, the kids are fucking annoying. But that's to be expected. Because I'm annoying. I'm annoying. My wife, annoying as fuck as well. And they are the spawn of two annoying people. So, of course, I knew my kids were going to be annoying as fuck. So I was like, bro, what about this shit that y'all really try to convince us was just so much harder than waking up every day and going to a job that you don't want to fucking be at? Out of y'all goddamn minds.
I was a stay-at-home dad for a whole year and some change. Easiest shit I ever did in my life. I had one child though, so that's why I'm saying it was easy. I woke up in the morning, dropped my child off at school, got back home, did like a 3 to 4 mile walk, workout and shit, went back home, cleaned up, might take a nap after I clean up, then I pick her up from school, food is already ready by the time she get home, and we go on by our day. That's what I did as a stay-at-home dad. And I'm only saying that because I was like still paying the bills technically too, because I was just getting paid from social media. And then I asked some women about would they be a stay-at-home mom, and they was like, what do my job consist of? I said, everything that I just said I did. They was like, so is the child gonna be in child care? No, because you're gonna take care of her, or our child's gonna be old enough to not need daycare. Then like, so I supposed to cook every day? I'm like, yes, that's what you do. So why not just hire a chef,
don't you?
and not pay for daycare? Bitch, did you not just? What's the point of you being a stay-at-home? What are you gonna do all day then? Bitch, sound like you need a job. Cause like, your job. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't understand. You got to eat every day. So why wouldn't you? Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love y'all. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.
All right, guys. So first of all, shout out to Anton Daniels, and I'm going to boost that entire video because it's good. He did a fantastic job. So you guys can check out more of his content, stuff like that. But let's get into what we were talking about. What were these guys talking about? Stay-at-home parenting. Because again, and I think Oprah was the first person to bring it out. Like she introduced somebody and said she's this, she's that, and she does the hardest job in the world. She's a stay-at-home mom, and Bill Burr, the comedian, has illustrated this. Maybe I'll try to find some and drop it in here as well.
So, I got a girlfriend, man. I watch a lot of TV with her, you know. I just annoy the hell out of her. She loves watching the Oprah Winfrey Show, and I love like watching her watch the Oprah Winfrey Show. And I wait for Oprah to say something stupid, and the second she does, I just take it out on my girl because I'm an asshole. That's what I do. No, we were watching it the other day. You know, Oprah's on there. She's interviewing some clam, you know, and she's giving her this big, ridiculous intro. Like, she's done this, she's done that, she's done this, and she does the most difficult job on the planet. She's the mother, and continues on. Immediately, I just look at my girlfriend like, you know, like, really? Being a mother is the most difficult job on the planet? Oh, yeah, all those mothers who die every year from black lung, from inhaling all that coal dust. Dude, women are just constantly patting themselves on the back about how difficult their lives are. So there's just this tornado of like misinformation. I have the most difficult job on the planet. What would you rather be doing? Drilling to the center of the earth, shaking hands with the devil? Every time there's a rumble in the ground, you wait for the whole thing to collapse down on top of you so they can write that folk song about you, you know? Would you rather be up in the sunshine, running around with a couple of toddlers that you can send to bed anytime you want on some sort of trumped up charges, right? Because you want to have a drink and watch The Price is Right, you know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. It's the most difficult job on the planet. Oh yeah. I thought roofing in the middle of July is a redhead. I thought that was difficult. But these mothers are bending over at the waist, putting DVDs into DVD players. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. Dude, any job that you can do in your pajamas is not a difficult job, all right? Give a break. Jesus Christ, you're 35 years old playing hide and go seek. You're living the dream. You're living the dream. No time card, no taxes, you're off the fucking grid. Making popsicle stick houses. I mean, it's the most difficult job on the planet. Oprah's not even a mother. How the fuck would she know? Unbelievable.
The point is, guys, stay-at-home parenting is not the slavery that you would be told. If you've never done this, guys, if you've never done this, take a week off, take some PTO, tell your wife to, you know, go take a girls trip or something like that. It's worth it to find out. And not to expose what they're saying, because we're going to handle things differently. And I think a lot of times for men, if you've been out in the workforce, things like that, you understand like really what it is to get your dick kicked in. And I'm going to use some language here. You understand what it is when life gut punches you, when you are doing laborious work, roofers, tars, construction work, places that you don't see a lot of female presence in those workplaces. You understand what it means to get up when it's still dark outside, and after working sometimes until it's still dark outside. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that women don't do that. That a lot of women don't do that, but we know inherently what it's like, guys. We can just be extremely frank about that. I was a stay-at-home dad. I worked in a warehouse, and then my now ex She got pregnant. She was in the military, and she got shipped off when our oldest was three months old. And from that point on, and this is okay, so this isn't even stay at home at that point. I was still working at the warehouse, and I would have to, I had to do it all. I had to do it all. So I understand that end of it. And then when my job came to an end, we kind of just made this decision. Okay, I'll just stay at home. It's a little bit easier. It's easier on our daughter. It might be a little bit cheaper on the bills than trying to do daycare, stuff like that. And so I just more or less did stay-at-home dad stuff, and I did some work on the side, like personal training. I'd get a few gigs here and there, like acting, commercials, stuff like that. I was still contributing, but it wasn't a 40-hour job. Guys, it was a delight. It's a delight to stay home with your kids, And my kids are 12 years apart, but I covered all of that until my youngest was about 4 or 5. But it's a delight. You just like these guys are saying. I got up, I'd make breakfast, get them off to school, or at least my oldest, get her off to school. I'd be there to pick her up. And I had time to be productive in between. That's where I would do like my training jobs and stuff. You do the laundry, you do the cooking, you do the cleaning. You set things up ahead of time. And I think that's where working in just any sort of job environment, you end up learning to be a little bit more concise with your time. So the one big thing that I am going to say that I think that men have as an advantage when it comes to that, aside from just knowing what it's like to have your teeth kicked in, is that we're also not dealing with hormones in a lot of ways. And don't get me wrong, I'm not making excuses. I think a lot of times people will just ride a certain thing that, well, you don't know what it's like. So you're right, we don't know what it's like, but we do know what it's like to know how to address a child that is crying, a child that is screaming, things like that. I was lucky my kids weren't that way, but I changed every diaper. I did the midnight feedings. I was up for the fevers, the vomiting, the diarrheas, all that. And with 2 girls, as they got a little bit older, and we're talking hygiene now. So now you're teaching them how to wash vaginas, things like that, things I don't have, and they're curious looking at dad, and things like that. So, guys, it's not the patriarchal, trapping that people have been taught. And the question was raised in the video. Why are you having multiple kids then? If you figured it out once and it's terrible. But I don't think that it's always those women. I think that you're just going to have, always disagreements within demographics. Some people are going to feel that way. And why? Because maybe they feel like they don't have anything else to offer or do besides have to raise these kids. Well, talk to your partner, swap. But generally, you pick that partner because they could provide well for you. So it would be weird for him to have to now stop providing. You pick that lady because she wanted to stay at home and nurture. So that was kind of the agreement. I understand agreements can change and those things can be different. But guys, when I tell you, it's a delight. And like they were saying, you're at the library, you're doing, the group, book readings, arts and crafts. I would go to the local mall, and they had a music school there where they were doing things like you'd bring your kids, and this was with my youngest. She was a baby, but they would have like sticks on the floor and little things that the kids could like play with, and you're doing that for a couple of hours, and then you go home, it's nap time. And then while they're doing a nap, you can catch up on what you want to, get your workout in. Again, I keep the house quiet. I'd get, take care of whatever I needed to. But a lot of times, I think it's mismanagement of time. It's mismanagement of efforts. It's mismanagement of energy, of resources. And you're starting to internalize and feel sorry for yourself rather than just saying like, hey, I brought this person into the world. I have to look out for them. This is my job. But I did all those things. I was running around. I was doing all those things. And when this is the split. This was the real split for me. When my oldest was junior high age, like 13, 14, she picked a school to go to because I wanted her to be able to pick a good school. She'd gone to a summer school, and it was at a really nice school, but it was probably like, I don't know, 10, 15 miles away, whereas her normal school was like half a block away. It is what it is, but she wanted out of the school. So every morning, especially when she went to cross country, we were up at like 5 a.m. And I have a 2-year-old. And so we're getting her up. You got to get the bags ready, but you have all that stuff ready. You have that travel bag ready. You don't just use from it. You have it ready, and then you use the other resources around the house so you don't have to refill it and restock all the time. So I always had extra diapers on deck. I always had those extra bottles ready to go. I always had the cooling packs and everything ready to go. So it's just ready to go. So we're up out the door at 5 a.m. I got this, the little one in the car seat, click, click, and we're off. Come back home. And by that time, she's probably going to nap a little while longer. Like I said, you go to the library, you schedule out what you're going to do, and you don't try to find something new all of the time. You find what's going to be on, like at the library every Tuesday, Thursday for story time and arts and crafts, whatever, and you integrate it into your schedule. After we had dropped off my daughter when she got when it was a little bit later in the day when she was out of sports, we would go straight to the park. I'd drop her off at my oldest off at school, take my youngest to the park, let her play, exhaust herself out, come home, Daniel Tiger, dinosaur train, all that stuff. Boom, nap time. Nap time about mid-morning, 11 o'clock-ish. Wake up just in time, one or two, just in time to get back up, go pick up, my oldest, pick up big sister. We come home, and a lot of times on the way back for that second dose of playtime, we would stop at the mall and let my youngest go and play like in the kids area. And there you have it. You have to organize. You have to have a structure. You have to have a plan. You can't just go haywire and try to go off the cuff all of the time. That's why people will frustrate themselves. Man, woman, anybody will frustrate themselves when you continually try to just pull it out of thin air and make it from scratch when you don't have to. You don't have to cook these crazy, extravagant meals. That's between you and yourself if you want to do that. You don't have to like keep cleaning things that don't have to be cleaned. Like if you swept and mopped, you've swept and mopped. If you've done the laundry, it's done. Yes, things keep getting dirty. That means people are using them and wearing them. But in comparison, I would much rather, I would do it with 6 kids rather than have to go to a job where there's a boss that's always trying to, get you to work extra for free, being a good team player, or drag you into overtime, coworkers that don't always show up or do their job, and so now it's leaning on you. If it's a super laborious job, things like that. The only thing that you're getting out of something like a job is benefits or money. But if you have an agreement where those things are being taken care of, then you're all good. Now guys, I did this for well over a decade because my kid's mother was military, so she was gone out of almost 20 years together, she was gone almost 12 of it. And so that's just me. And I didn't lean heavily on babysitters, things like that, if I had something going on. Or better yet, once my kids got to an age where I wanted them to experience a little bit of life with their friends or with people that I trusted, so they weren't just around dad all the time, because there is that to consider. But other than that, guys, it's an absolute delight. Get yourself lined up, get yourself right, get yourself to a point where you have everything structured, and it should be no problem. But don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. The only thing that I can say to any of that is, no, I've never had postpartum. I've never, had to look in the mirror and feel like my body is blown out or feel the exhaustion. So maybe that's part of it. But sometimes, as we all know, people will ride that and go to a little bit of embellishment just to put that shinier button on themselves to say, look at all the amazing things that I've done. And that's not always the case, not when you get to step in and do it. So I would highly recommend some of you guys out there, if you're getting browbeaten with that and you hear it, tell your wife, you know what, I'm gonna send you to your mother's house for a month or a week or something like that, and then be able to take care of the kids on your own. Take the PTO. It's worth it to investigate it. And beyond that, it's worth it to spend some quality time with your kids. So if you can swing it, I suggest that you do it. And it's not to expose, but it's to maybe, help also say, hey, this is what I did. I understand I haven't done it as long. I understand that we maybe have worked with different energy levels, things like that, but there's still something that could work for everybody. Those are my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts? Leave it in the chat. Have you done this? Would you do it? What are your experiences? If you have, all of that good stuff. I want to hear from people. And this is on Father's Day. Woo, this is all the smoke. So guys, I hope this finds everybody in your place. Pursuit of beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. Peace, love, unity, solidarity, and as always, There we go. Subscriptions and videos. So these are going to be interesting. I'll try to connect them so they have something to do with the topic, so you can keep going down this rabbit hole. And we'll see you guys soon. Much love.